seeking one of Earth's toughest jobs. But first he has to face Earth's dumbest blobs. Tim Scott may have the edge against The View in smarts, but can he survive Whoopi's farts? That was good. Time once again for
Our View on The View.
The takedown was tough up to this point. Gutfeld is renowned for his sharp and funny sense of humor. He has been critiquing The View hosts for years, pointing out their biased reporting, contradictions, and strong political opinions. But instead of merely aiming for a jab in his most recent discussion, he sought a decisive answer. At the center of the dispute was Joy Behar, one of The View's most outspoken and assertive characters. Gutfeld's direct and often scathing remarks of socialist ideas have led Behar to dismiss him as a fringe voice in the media. This time, however, the positions were reversed, and she wasn't prepared. The dispute arose after Fox News and other conservative media outlets were charged with undermining democracy during a discussion that was shown on The View. Behar harshly criticized Gutfeld's show, calling his entire company a farce and disparaging his IQ. Gutfeld responded to the arguments on his own program within a few hours. He questioned what he saw as unfair treatment and drew attention to contradictions in one of his most talked-about TV appearances to date. Not only were his words important, but so was his delivery. Behar's caustic comment and unyielding stance contrasted with Gutfeld's bold responses. As the debate gained traction online, millions of people took sides in what has become one of the year's most talked-about media disputes. However, the real question is, did Joy Behar present a strong counter-argument, or did Gutfeld draw attention to the flaws in the mainstream media's criticism? Let's analyze it. Viewers of The View know that Joy Behar and her co-hosts don't hesitate to express their opinions. They frequently criticize conservatives, Republicans, and other media figures. Over the years, they have regularly attacked Gutfeld, with Behar dismissing his views as absurd or unworthy of serious thought. But what had caused Gutfeld's latest response? It all began when Fox News and other conservative media sources were heavily criticized for being seen as threats to democracy. Behar went one step farther and openly ridiculed Gutfeld, questioning his intelligence and morality while labeling his show a series of unfounded insults. It was then that Gutfeld decided to respond. When Gutfeld addressed the issue on his show, he did more than simply reply. He examined their arguments. In his characteristically humorous style, he aired clips from The View's past contentious moments, highlighting how the show often claims to support free speech while suppressing dissenting opinions. His final point had a powerful impact. Even if The View supports women's rights, he noted, it has a history of rejecting or demeaning women with diverse political views. His accusation that the show gives wealthy people a platform to present themselves as victims was one of his most biting remarks, and it caused his audience to laugh. Videos of Gutfeld's remarks quickly became widely shared on social media. According to a production insider, Joy Behar considered responding immediately since she was so annoyed by the video. The next day, she and her co-hosts responded with a mix of comedy and disdain, with Behar calling Gutfeld a third-rate comedian. However, this response could have had unintended consequences. Rather than contradicting Gutfeld's ideas, her remarks seemed to reinforce his assertion that The View is subject to criticism, but not necessarily receptive to alternative perspectives. There was immediate criticism as viewers found out about it. Even loyal fans began to question whether Joy Behar was avoiding the subject rather than engaging in an open discussion. Within hours, reactions flooded Twitter, YouTube, and political forums. His reaction was praised by Gutfeld's followers as one of the most satisfying rebuttals of the year. Conservative commentators backed him, pointing out that The View often calls for accountability unless they are the one being criticized. Behar's supporters retorted that she didn't need to respond at all because Gutfeld's entire career has been focused on amusing commentary and entertainment. Despite efforts to downplay the scandal, one thing was clear: Gutfeld was the one who controlled the online conversation. His comment had a startlingly low number of direct reactions on YouTube, even though it received millions of views. Some even insisted on a live, on-air debate between Gutfeld and Behar. However, it seems unlikely that Behar would engage in such a discussion. Greg Gutfeld has once again shown why he is currently one of the most talked-about figures in the media. His ability to turn a popular event into a viral moment has increased his influence in the conservative commentary space. But what comes next? Will the ongoing cultural tension between Gutfeld and The View persist? Or is there a darker undercurrent at work? Now, The View has a big decision to make. Do they oppose Gutfeld in an attempt to restore control of the narrative? Or do they choose to ignore the issue and hope it goes away? Speaking up could risk giving Gutfeld even more material to work with, but being silent could give the impression that they have no defense, that they were exposed in a way they cannot deny. Ultimately, a constant back and forth is more advantageous to Gutfeld than to them. He thrives on debates, sharp rebuttals, and turning media inconsistencies into viral moments. So what is making Joy Behar react? Or not? This may not be the first time she has encountered the media, but it may be the most important. She rarely backs down and is known for being outspoken and tenacious. However, in this case, she might not be best served by a frank discussion because it might emphasize Gutfeld's advantages over her own.
What? Your grandfather, Vincenzo, was born at number 8.
What? They were living across the street?
The families were living across the street from each other.
Huh.
Just across the street.
I mean, it's almost insane.
Because of this issue, Joy Behar's reputation might suffer. She is known for speaking her mind and rarely backs down from a disagreement, but this time she seems surprised. If she doesn't speak up, she can be accused of avoiding the issue. If she responds forcefully, she could come across as overly defensive. Either way, she's in a difficult position. Meanwhile, Gutfeld's fan base is growing. His audience boosts his popularity each time he takes on a well-known individual, and his show remains one of the most watched in its genre. He has turned these media fights into an art form after realizing that exposing perceived media bias is not only engaging for viewers, but also a good way to build a loyal following. Is this the beginning of something bigger? Or will this be the last conflict between The View and Gutfeld? Will Joy Behar and her co-hosts adopt a more combative approach, or do they plan to ignore the controversy? Without a doubt, this incident has reinforced the ongoing debate about the credibility of the mainstream media, which Gutfeld frequently attacks. And since the debate is still going strong, it's reasonable to say that this issue is far from over. So, was this just another media feud, or did Greg Gutfeld really expose a double standard? Did Joy Behar have the right to ignore him, or should she have reacted more forcefully? There is still disagreement over the argument. What do you think? Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Additionally, if you wish to keep up with the latest news on celebrities and the media, be sure to subscribe to our channel.